seconds ago. I'm still winded because a friend of mine, yeah, she comes in here too, Kendra. She had a contest for her birthday, and I won the third prize. And it was funny that the contest, one of the prizes was actually about a crystal grid. I mean, well, one of the things was, yeah, last night we talked about like my crystal grids and, well, just the one, and all my stones. And then she's like, I really hope you win the third prize, which is this Gemstones of the Adversary book that she wrote. I'm like, oh, I hope so too. I just watched and there it is. I'm like, huh. Well, because yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm kind of giddy. But anyway. Okay, we're changing gears now. Okay, so now this is going to be about shadow work. And even outside is thundering and raining pretty hard. I don't know if you can hear it, but still. Now, when I say shadow work, I'm not meaning the very easygoing, like going in and pretty much going towards what you don't like. I'm talking about the stuff that is like legit terrifying. Stuff that makes you really uncomfortable. Stuff that can pretty much make you flash out and become like something that you're not usually. Don't mind the subway cut. Classy, I know. Because real shadow work is forcing yourself to go towards stuff that you purposely avoid, stuff you don't want to deal with. It can be something as very simple as like, I don't want to be going towards this part of town, this house, this place. I don't want to go towards it because it brings bad memories. To something so catastrophic that, like one of them, funny enough. Oh. Because this is going to be a little bit, this is also getting a little hard for me too, because I'm trying to push myself through in order to show how hard and terrifying this can be. One of the things that is hard for me, I can't get my blood drawn. I can't get quit it. I can't get like blood drawn for like blood tests, and I can't really do like funny enough, vaccinations, anything involving like a needle or a lancet of any kind. That just sets me off. But the thing is, and actually the reason why is because I've helped my significant other actually get off of heroin, and I forced them off of it. So whenever I see anything like that, it can make me just snap into going through all that all over again. But the thing with shadow work is that you're pretty much taking yourself and you're pushing yourself against it to really dig deep into yourself and really face the stuff you don't want to face. Like another example. Oh. And when you're trying so hard to actually communicate about it, if you're having a lot of resistance and you're trying so hard to push yourself through it, that's a sign that you're really doing shadow work. Shadow work isn't like working with dark entities, is not going to like a graveyard and speaking with the ancestors, is not working with the left-handed path divines. No. Shadow work is turning in on yourself and looking to see where the parts where you have abandoned and refused to go to. Excuse me. Like another example. One of the hardest things for me to do was also forgive my father. And I haven't spoken to him, and I think he's actually dead. The last time I actually like communicated with and spoke with him was back in 2015 when I was trying to get very like reconnect with him, but it didn't work because he actually ended up insulting a friend of mine, And he was not acting right. And I just told him, no, I can't have you in my life. You're not my father. And one of the times that it was very hard for me is because my father was very abusive, psychologically controlling. He jeopardized my safety when I was an infant. He, as well, swung at my mother, abused her, physically, mentally, emotionally, and literally put her through like so many unheard of things. And one of them was actually he locked her in a room, and somehow she couldn't get the door unlocked. So like she was in a room, kind of like how it's padded, like in a ward. Yeah, that's what she told me and described it to me. But just thinking about it, I can't. It's so hard for me because I'm thinking, because the only way I can see my mother, I see her pretty much as like, okay, because since she risked her life for me numerous times and never put me in jeopardy, I can't think of anything negative towards her at all. And if it wasn't for her, I would be dead because my father completely neglected me the whole time when I was in his care. Not saying it to be mean, not saying it to be like getting stabs back, no. But one of the hardest things I had to do when he was when he was in the hospital, and I believe I think he had like, I don't know, 3 things of cancer. I know he had diabetes. I think it was liver. I can't really remember, but I know there was like 3 major complications that was going wrong with him. And yeah, they, well, not really they, but my mother told me that he was in the hospital. I don't know how she found out, but she came into my room when I was living with her and said, your father is in the hospital, and he's probably not going to make it because he has so much wrong with him. So, I mean, it is what it is. I never really had a connection with him that much, but the thing is that I could have understood. And by the way, the last time I spoke to him, which I'm assuming he's passed, was in 2017. Well, a little bit early 2018, not 2017, my bad. And she told me, and then she said, do you want to actually go up to see him if he's not going to make it? And I said, no. No, because the choices he made just showed that, one, he was using me just to get him out of hot water all the time. And he used me as a pawn for his gain, in a way of like getting off the hook and putting it all on my mother, which agitates me a lot. And I mean, he even had the nerve to pretty much blame, like, in front of the judge and all that stuff. He had the nerve to pretty much tell the judge, "It's not me, Your Honor. It's all her. She's the one with all the paraphernalia and, you know, putting our son's health at risk." Because believe it or not, the most that he did was, one, give my grandmother $20 to buy diapers, and also play Matchbox Cars with me when I was still an infant. But when it came to, like, you know, me being able to breathe, because back then I had very bad asthma, like really bad, he didn't know what to do. So pretty much he just kept downing Benadryl on me. That was not a good idea. But pretty much, my mother called the hospital, and I said, "Here, give me the phone." And I was talking to him, and I mean, he was aware, but he couldn't talk back. And one of the hardest things for me to do, I had to bite my tongue, because I mean, I wanted to just completely unhinge and just say, you know, you're not my father. You never was. And you're not going to be. Because the thing is, I'm really trying to, hold myself back, because what I really want to say is pretty dark and not nice. But he's not my father. The only thing that I pretty much got from him is pretty much the eye color. Kind of maybe the hair too, a little bit, not too much. Other than that, I've got all the rest from my mother. Because how he acted by putting my health at risk and not really providing, and putting my health at risk, traumatizing my mother, abusing her. I wanted to say, you're not my father, because the thing is that if you're going to be my dad, I have to look up to you, and I can't look up to you. No. If anything, I never had a father. He was just killed in an accident when I was born, trying to come and see me be born. Don't mean to be mean, but that's the kind of process I have. And I mean, on the phone, I took a big, biting of the tongue, and I just said, I forgive you, but deep down I just wanted to explode. And I had to just accept that there was nothing I could do to get over it. Even to this day, I'm still not over it. Heck, I'm even holding onto my cell nightstick just to... But... Well, it's not really about my upbringing that I'm pretty much focusing on, but it's the idea of understanding that you have to be able to look back on yourself and understand that sometimes things that happen in the past, you're going to blame yourself for it. Here's another one. This one's probably worse than the one about my father. Before I met Hell, my Hell. Well, not really my Hell, but you get the idea. Before, I met her in, at the beginning of February of 2017, there was an incident where I got home from work, and I was working at a travel stop, I think. Yeah. And I come into my home, rental at the time. Got home, laid on the couch, and was like, I'm gonna go to sleep. Then my phone made a noise. I'm like, okay. Picked it up. It was a text message from a number I didn't know. Okay, whoop-de-whoop. The text message read something like this. I'm sorry to tell you this, but your significant other, his name, I'm not going to mention it right now. He was found with mixed drugs around him and syringes. Unresponsive and not moving. I'm sorry for your loss. That literally, made my inner being just completely into thousands of pieces. To the point where I was reading the message, and literally, inwardly, I felt shattering. And I just remember just staring at the phone like this. Didn't even move for a little while. Just stood there. Well, not really stood there, but was sitting there just like this. Because I was able to read it, but inwardly and internally, I didn't understand it. Then called my grandmother, called my mother. Told them what happened, just expressed all that. And then as soon as my grandmother left, because she came down to see if I was okay. As soon as she left, and even just talking about the story, even though I've said it many times before, it's still hard. After she left, I put in a week's off personal time for work. Blacked out all the windows, blacked out every possible way light could come in. No light could come in at all. I locked the doors. Turn off the phone. And for pretty much 6 days straight, pretty much. I went insane. I lost my grip of reality, started like throwing myself against the wall, and the walls were made of brick. Brick. So I'm like jumping and throwing myself against the wall, hitting my head against the wall, and just screaming and yelling at myself, saying, "Why did you fail him? If you loved him, he wouldn't have been dead right now. You failed him. You don't love him, because if you did, he wouldn't be dead. You're such a disappointment," and just so many other harsh things. And like for 6 days, up until the point where I passed out, I just kept doing it. To the point where literally being in that one bedroom bath sized condominium, pretty much not being able to see, I just kept going until I couldn't feel. Also being passed out. Well, and after when I passed out, as soon as I felt like, okay, I'm moving again, just went crazy and just went out again. Just kept going over and over again. And I decided, well, I don't want to live like this. So I decided I'm just going to go with him to found my way around trying to find like a bowl of some kind of. So I have this bowl, and now I'm going through the whole place, feeling my way through, and whenever I grab like a container of some kind, I just opened it and I just put it in the bowl. Don't even know what I was putting in there. But it did not have a pleasant smell. And before I was getting ready to go, like actually like consume it, I remember just feeling my way around, and then I just kind of like moved to the left, and I decided, okay, I'm going to take this. But before I could take it, I just lost feeling again. And when I came to again, I could feel. I was feeling my way around, barely brisked in front of me. And as soon as I was about to go and grab it and be like, okay, this is it, that's when hell came in and screamed. Like, imagine having two jet planes go like right past your ear. Like jet planes. We all know how those are. Jet planes. Like one against each ear. Just. And she screamed to get the up, or I really am going to be dead. Look up, and yep. She helped me stand back up. Cleaned myself up, and when I turned on the lights, I'm like, holy crap, oh my gosh, there's a lot of blood on the wall. And yeah, it wasn't a pretty sight to see, and I mean, it still disturbs me. And then, after I washed myself and patched myself up, I get a Snapchat message from mine. Snapchat. Yeah, he had one. And I looked at him like, what? Opened it up, and then it was like a snap video of him saying, I'm alright, Bren, I'm safe, everything's cool. I'm okay, I'm alright. And I literally lost it. Like, legit fell to my, like, almost fell on my face, sobbing like, I don't know who you are, but thank you. Because believe it or not, if hell didn't stop me, I wouldn't be here right now. It was. And it was very... It was an experience that I'm glad she stopped me. Not just for me, but also for him. Because I don't know... I would not know how he would have gone afterwards if I took my life because I thought it was gone. It would have been, yeah, so she saved. Hey, Jen. So nice to see you here. Because, yeah, I was just bringing up some of the very not so... Oh, you got the sword today. Goody. Ooh. Sorry if I'm like a little bit off, but yeah, we're talking about like the shadow worky stuff, and I'm just finishing up like an incident that I almost took my life, and hell stopped me, And bringing it up is very difficult for me, and it's very dark. But, so, yeah. But yeah, if Hell didn't stop me, I wouldn't be here right now. He probably would not be in the best mental health. So yeah, essentially Hell stopped my suicide and prevented a would-be vain death from happening. And that's why from there I learned point blank, life, there's always going to be a reason for somebody to live. And when it's not your time, it's not your time. And I'm just really glad that it wasn't true. Carl Jung, I don't know who Carl Jung is, so I can't really say much about that, but another thing like with regarding shadow work, when you really put your time and effort into it, when you really put your time and effort in working, oh, I mean, I never heard of him, but at least from what I've experienced, real shadow work actually makes you go deep within, and it challenges you to look at others and puts you at a challenge to say, okay, look what this individual is doing. Look what this person is doing. Look at this one and that one. To everybody else, this person is a lowlife, has no sense of purpose, a waste of space, worthless, nothing, contributes nothing. So what's so good about them? It makes you really reflect and think, am I going to be, is he going to be able to look at somebody else and see a person, or look at somebody else and think whatever insult can come out? Because one of the things that people have to realize is that no matter how dark something is, the only way to get through it is at first you have to accept it for how it is. And that's a hard thing to do. And one of the hard things I have to do, and I'm still doing, it's the fact that I'll never, I'll probably never, I can barely even say it. I have to accept probably I'll never see who I fell in love with back in 2010, my first love. And I mean, I'm still with him, but after him going through all he's gone through, that period, it changed him. And he's never been the same. And I remember how much he was just a wish come true, and I may never see them again. I'll never see him like that again. And it's a hard thing to do. But it's even harder to go through all that I've gone through and helped him through, and accepting the fact that I mean, I'm not really going to share all that him and I have gone through, because it can be pretty dark. But it really makes you self-reflect and think, do I really love this person? Do I truly love him? To the point where It doesn't matter what happens, I'm sticking with them. Because believe me. Yeah, I know, Jen. Because good thing with at least some shadow work and the stuff that I've learned for myself is that at the end of the day, nobody's perfect. Nobody is. But that's what makes them perfect. Everyone should be allowed to be themselves and not pretty much be outcasted and pushed away for something that they can't help. Because if that's like putting down somebody who is born deformed, missing a limb, having like some kind of genetic disorder, somebody having a psychiatric disorder, mental disorder, even being on the autistic spectrum, which I am, funny enough, Asperger's syndrome, believe it or not. Whoops. And the thing is that seeing somebody as another person over a condition Alright then, thanks Jen. Thanks for that. But one of the things, at least with Hell and how, I mean, the way she put me through shadow work is she pretty much just reminded me harshly, like, look, don't think that it's good to look at other people and try and find reasons to swing them and tell them how horrible they are or how ugly they are or whatever BS reason. Because really, the minute you start doing that, later on down the line, someone's going to look at you and think, wow, you're hideous. The exact same way you did to somebody else. It's even worse if somebody is in a situation, whether going through or recalling they're going and reliving like post-traumatic stress disorder or anything along those lines. Psychosis is another one. If somebody's going through that, and now if you're pretty much making fun of them, because I've actually seen somebody who was having a schizophrenic episode and they were in a panic state, and 3 other people were looking at him and laughing at him, and they were filming him while he had something like trigger that in his psyche and like what he was seeing, while he was going through absolute oh my gosh, like he was screaming, he was like completely terrified. These other 3 bozos were just looking at him, laughing at him, and then one of them was recording him being in that panic state. And I was there. Literally. What I wanted to do was to actually scream at those 3 and say, you think it's funny to have something put you in that state and then be laughed at? You think that's funny? Really? No. You 3 are disgusting. Get out of my house. Because I was living with my mother at the time. And they were like 3 of her friends. And I just told them, out of the house. One of them got a little verbal with me and I said, out of the house. And like I had my jaws going like this. Like, And yeah, they got out. And the person that was having the episode was on the floor, freaking out still. All I did was just get down on the level, just handed my hand out like that. Looked up and he was like terrified. And he was shaking, like having body tremors. And I just held my hand like that. And he said, what's that for? And I said, just grab it if you need it. It is what it is, Tammy. You are who you are. That's what makes you you. That doesn't make you. People that have those challenges, they actually, I'm going to put it this way, point blank. They are entitled. Make sure everybody heard that. They are entitled to have the same care and treatment as anybody else who has a medical condition. Entitled. Nobody gets any BS because of a condition. Every human being, at least in this country, deserves, in fact, screw that, every person in the world deserves to have the opportunity to get the care that they need if they are looking for it and they're begging for it. Everyone. It doesn't matter if they made a mistake. If they're putting in the effort to get well, they deserve to have the opportunity. And not be drugged up. Well, as long as well, I don't know if I would be considering myself a vice, but I'm not really much of a vice kind of a person anyway. But to me, it's common sense. Oh wait, I gotta finish that little thing I was talking about. So that guy that was having that schizophrenic moment, I had my hand out, and I just told him, if you ever need to grab it, just grab it. I'm not going to go anywhere because you're in distress. I'm going to be sitting right here alongside you. I'm not going to go anywhere until you get more stable. But if you need to grab the hand, just grab it. And I don't care how hard you have to squeeze. You grab the hand and you squeeze it as hard as you can. Don't worry about breaking my hand. Don't worry about it. Oh yes, Dolly. Of course, I'm always good. It's just material that I'm talking about tonight is a little bit bump in the night, spooky and very uncomfortable, but it is what it is. So I had my hand out like that, and it was about a good 5 minutes or so, just sitting there, and he was still going through his moment. I had my eyes closed, and I was just nice and calm, and then just out of nowhere, I felt like a grip, really hard, and he was gripping my hand as hard as he could, like I told him to. I didn't even flinch. I just took a big deep breath, and he just held on as hard as he could, and I just held on. It was extremely painful. Pushed myself through it, and as soon as he released, he just said, "Wow, I just feel so much better now. I feel like I'm back on the ground." Because really what that is, that's actually kind of like giving someone the chance to actually make the choice to grab and not pushing it on them. Because when you start pushing onto somebody who's going through an episode like that and forcing it onto someone, it makes them become more paranoid. When you have it just out in front of them and just say, if you need it, just grab it. If you don't need it, okay, but it's there. It makes them have an opportunity to make the choice on their own instead of being forced. Because most of the time, episodes and triggers like that are because someone forced them to do something they did not want to do and they were really uncomfortable with. This way, it helps them make the choice, and it also helps ground them from going there back to Earth. But that's one of the repercussions if you keep burying incidents where you don't want to face, you don't want to accept. And it's a pretty hard thing. And I mean, I still have so many other things that I'm still going back and facing that like as I was saying, I'm still trying really hard to even go back towards myself even more. Because I mean, like how, excuse me, how Nightshade said it on one of his installments of Hail and Horns, which, by the way, I'm sorry, I'm going to just table flip here a little bit right quick. For some reason, his channel just disappeared off of YouTube. It was quote-unquote deleted somehow. I'm not here to be nice, but I'm just going to just pick up a spear and chuck it when it needs to be chucked. If his channel's, gone because of somebody who is stalking innocent women, harassing them, mocking them and having, the yep, and even now, even the really feisty side of me is really trying to come out. It's like trying to bust down my mouth and say, just, I don't want to say that because I won't be able to get monetized, but still. But there has been an individual. Yeah, I don't like it because the thing is, everybody should be allowed to express themselves and how they feel without any kind of repercussion, as long as it's saying how they feel. Are they going to take action? No. Most of the time, things that people react to, they're not really taking into context the current situation. Pretty much now it's to the point where if something's offensive, people be like, oh, that's offensive. The truth is offensive? It's more offensive than being quote unquote offended by the truth? Stupidity. Their stupidity is more offensive. But that's none of my business. But Nightshade, how he described shadow work, is like layers, like an onion. And if you want to be, okay, fine, I'll put in a funny joke because that's my personality. Ogres are like onions. Well, the thing is, speaking about that, well, I'll get to that when I'm done with this. Ogres are like onions. They stink? Yeah. No. Ogres have layers. Onions have layers. Shadow work has layers. The first little bit, okay, it's not so bad. And then when you get down to like 5 or 6, you're like, this is mortifying. It is. Because incorporating your shadow side into your life, not only is it the most creative side of you, but it's also the more like it can be very disturbing. And you have to understand when you've reached your limit. Everybody has limits, but just like a muscle. If you keep working the muscle, it gets bigger and it gets stronger and it can handle on its own. But when you expect to lift something that's like, I don't know, if you're going to start lifting weights and you're going to start at a 50, yes, that's another thing too. Being honest with yourself. Accepting and being honest and saying like even look in the mirror and just go, you're really stupid. You've been acting so stupid. You're neglecting yourself. Why are you doing that? That's hard to do. Why aren't you doing what you want to do? Why are you letting other people control your life like that? If you're going to let other people control your life, it's not your life. Why are you letting yourself do that to you? That's not how to live. And accepting the fact that, if you made a mistake, some people, like narcissists, I love them. I love narcissists so much. They think they're the hottest thing on this earth, but no, sorry. Not impressed with somebody, who can't, admit the fact that they made a mistake. Oh. Thing is, the best way to combat that is to always know that nobody's perfect, because perfection doesn't exist. But that's what makes everybody perfect. Nobody's perfect, but that's why they're perfect. And yes, that's a paradox. But at the same time, that paradox is true. Funny enough. There's a, oh yeah, I was wanting to talk about, the offending part. Now, it is very important because that's the best way for you to grow. If you don't put yourself in situations where you want to just cover your ears and cover your eyes and not face it, it builds up in you and that can become like weakness. And if you're not careful, you can actually end up leaving yourself a weak point and something can take a jab at you and then you're out. like how I said earlier, for me, one of the hardest things for me to do is get my blood drawn. I can't do that because the first thing that comes in my mind is like, oh, I'm getting blood drawn. Oh, there's a needle. Oh, wait a minute. Then it's, yeah, because my mother had a trouble with drugs, and so did my loved one, and I don't want to go through that again because my brain, being so active, sees that, and all that just comes right back in my head. I'm much better than I am now, but back then, no. I could just simply see like a lancet for. Heck, some people, hey, it is what it is. Some people like vampires or phlebotomists. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Just make sure they're sucking blood, not, something else. All that. Bad, Brendan. Don't be talking like that. Damn nasty kid. But the thing with being offended, and most of the time, I'm not trying to, be all like, oh, you're trying to cause a fight here? No. I'm just saying it because this is just what it is. Most of the time, if you're going to be saying that something bothers you, well, I guess that must make you trying to get over True Blood. I got nothing. But most of the time, if somebody is telling you, yeah, like if I had to go be in that situation, it would be very hard for me. But the thing is, people, whenever somebody tells you, oh, I'm offended, that's offensive, or, anything like that, saying or pretty much making it known that whatever just happened that you're doing pretty much bothers them, it makes them uncomfortable. Pretty much what they said is, that's my weakness, don't do that. I'm dead serious. Oh, that's my weakness, why are you doing that? Stop doing that. That's what my mixed martial arts sensei taught me. He said, whatever you do, don't tell people what your weakness is. Because the thing is, if you tell people what their weakness is, if they tell you what it is, if anything, you pretty much just told them, this is exactly how you can take control of me, by just using this or doing this. And once they have that, they can just purposely just take it and then just make so much use of it and abuse it. To the point where now you are being like going into like a big hissy fits moment or state numerous times by this one person because you told him that bothers me. Because there's been people that have made me get a little bit like, oh, okay, that's not good. But even then, I don't make it known that I'm like, I don't go, oh, I find that offensive. No. I just go, okay, and? Oh, you think it's okay to step over somebody's grave? No, it's okay. Because, yeah, pretty soon in all due time, we'll all be in the ground, and somebody will step over you too. I don't go like, oh, you stepped over their grave, that's mean, that's offensive. No, don't do that. Because now they're going to go step over it over and over again, just because they know they can do that to mess with you. And don't tell people your weaknesses, ever. No. Because they will be used against you and abuse you. I do, to a point. But when someone gets way out of line, like a good example, a friend of mine, she was in a I can't remember what kind of doctors that is, but she was gynecologist, I think that's what it is. She was in her patient room just waiting for the doctor. And she's set up for how that test is done. I don't know, because I'm not a female, so I got nothing. So she's sitting there ready, and she's been sitting there for like about an hour. And her and I were messaging off a messenger on Facebook, and then she was starting to tell me how uncomfortable she was and how she was feeling very violated and very she was feeling kind of ashamed and like pretty not so good about herself because she was sitting there for a long time like that. And she even heard like one of the doctors or so kind of like making fun of her. And as soon as she said that, I told her, okay, I'm going to send you a voicemail, like a voice message. Turn it up as loud as you can. Make it sure that it's loud enough they can hear it. And you don't even have to do anything. You just got to press the play button when I send it. So I sent a message that went to the effect like this. I'm going to try not to scream and yell because my grandparents are still like... Pretty much I said, excuse me, I think you guys forgot about someone in this room. Yeah, she's been sitting here for quite a while. Oh, and by the way, probably would be better if you don't talk bad about your patients when they're still in the building, in the room you forgot them in. Could you please take care of her? Thank you. And literally, from what she said, 1 minute later, somebody came rushing in like, are you okay? And literally, from what she told me, that whole rest of that visit, it went like overly smooth. Like everybody was so concerned. They even wanted to help her out of her car and all that stuff. And I mean, that's the kind of thing that gets me mad. Like, if you're going to be putting someone in a situation where they're not comfortable and they're feeling down and they're ashamed of themselves, and if you're going to be talking bad about them, hope I don't get wind of it, because yeah, I'm not going to be nice. In fact, oh, and yeah, we're going to the parts of shadow where now my extremely feisty, sassy side wants to come out. A while back, my grandmother went to get blood work done, for all things. And this is when I kind of wish I was there, because I would have just snapped. And my grandmother just turned 77, almost 80. She relies on a walker, or even when she goes out, relies on a cane. Other than that, she cannot walk. She can barely even lift her feet. So she's down getting blood work done. She gets it all finished. And then as soon as after the phlebotomist gets the blood drawn, rushes out, doesn't even help her out, but that wasn't the issue. The issue was she was getting up, and she had to be very careful. She had her cane. She was able to get up. She gets a hold of her cane, and then she hears her name, and somehow, for some reason, inappropriate names and just vulgar, uncalled for comments were being spoken about her. And from what she said, it sounded like it was the phlebotomist saying it to one of her other colleagues or whatever. When she came home and told me that, I literally just asked her, okay, which lab was it? And I pretty much was trying so hard not to just completely unhinge. And afterwards she said, well, it was just down there at, like down where our family doctor's at. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to go down there real quick and give a harsh lesson and teach people you're going to put down and you're going to make fun of somebody who is an elder and can barely walk. And she has gone through immense pain and suffering that you can't even imagine. And you're going to swing at her? You're going to mock her? Oh, of all the things that these people should have learned, the one thing was keep your mouth shut. If you don't have anything nice to say, keep your mouth shut. Because if you don't, you'll actually have somebody come back in, like me, but my grandmother stopped me, for I don't know how she did it. You'll have somebody like me come in and be like, oh, you're making fun of an old person? Really? And knowing me and my really feisty side, I would end up just looking at him and say, you think it's okay to make fun of someone like that? You know what I think of you? And just spit on him. Dead serious. That is something you don't do with me. You don't put down somebody who's an elderly person, someone who can barely walk, and they're barely able to carry themselves. And really, I'm being serious. I would literally spit on them. because they're that low of a person to make fun of somebody who pretty much, if it wasn't for them altogether, like elderly, those who are much older in age, if it wasn't for them, they would not even be on this earth and actually walking on this place. Well, like this earth as a whole. The ground they walk on, they have to thank the older generations for that. If they're going to make fun of somebody because of, them struggling to walk and wishing, God, I wish you would hurry up. Oh, really? Well, I kind of wish you would have, your teeth knocked out. Hey, I'm sad, but hey, don't blame me. I wasn't the one that, didn't have self-control over my mouth. Take that as you want to. And I mean, same thing goes for domestic violence survivors too. If somebody's gone through something very traumatic, and if somebody that knows that takes advantage of that, and actually, because when I was living with my mother too, this was like way back in 2018-ish, and like my first live video that I did here, the witchy tag one, like many moons ago, really legit many moons ago, my first video ever, when I was on the couch, I was in a garage, living in there, and the house where I was staying at with my mother, the tenant there who was taking us in, she was a domestic violence survivor, and I mean, she was an abuse victim, and I mean, then yeah, you've seen how I look then and now, much different, but the tenant there that took us in was an absolute sweetheart, very caring, very generous, and very easygoing, like extremely easygoing and very gentle and very thoughtful, and always had the best intentions for anybody that came across her. Some people saw that and took advantage of her. And back then at the time, I was not in a well mental state much. Sometimes it is best to be alone and worrying about just you. Sometimes it is, but it all depends on the person. But with her, she had a child with her abuser, and that's hard to do, but her abuser put her through absolute heck. And the thing is, now she has to suffer with that on her mind and for the rest of her life, not feeling secure. And I mean, if I was in a better state, like I am now, I probably would not have taken it lightly. I would not have taken it lightly, pretty much encountering someone like that. And actually doing that to somebody who is just the most very easygoing and gentle, considerate person. I wouldn't stand for that. I would just pretty much just say, wow, you should have been named Mistake. Because, yeah, it takes a special kind of a stupid, to take advantage of somebody who has a giving, caring heart, and you scream and yell at them knowingly that what you're doing is going to make them go into a very panic state, and you take advantage of them, and you just completely terrorize their thoughts. Now, that person deserves to get hit upside the head with a 2x4, and hopefully enough times that they stop moving. Hey, don't look at me. I'm not the idiot. I don't mean to be harsh and point blank and cruel like that, but it is what it is. Sometimes what you have to do to fix a brain is you got to hit it upside the head so many times and reset it. Just, if it stops moving, well, we tried to rescue his brain by resetting it, but it didn't work. Oh, well. Precisely why you should have been named Mistake. But just, no matter how hard things can be, and I saw that, quit it. Metaphorically, yeah, I agree with that. Although, I don't think I shared this in my, it is hard. I've been there. I've been there. Let's just say, yeah. One of the, I'm gonna also share one of the little things I don't think I mentioned in my, little, little live stream about the art of bamboozling. Because this is actually another bamboozly kind of a thing to do. It actually involves, funny enough, vampires, energy vampires, and stuff like that. I'm trying to light up the mood a little bit. I'm trying, okay? And one of the things you can do, again, well, we'll just play this simple question game. The 50 questions that have the same answer, and you're kind of thinking like, what's the point of these questions, kid? Take it from the top. Okay, whose nose are you smelling with? Yeah, I'm dead serious. And yeah, I'm asking serious questions. Okay? And whose mouth are whose mouth do you speak through? Yeah. Should be the same answer as the first one. And then whose ears are you listening with? Whose eyes are you looking through? Whose thoughts are you listening to or hearing? Whose body is yours? Where does it belong to? And yes, I just said the answer in that one, but still. Whose life is it? Who's the one that makes decisions for you? And I just said the answer right there. Who has the authority and the final say what happens to your life? Who makes the final call every time? The answer is the same. You. Splendid. Now that we know that you are the one in control, you get to decide what happens with you. Now, with that in mind, let's just say an energetic vampire comes prancing up to you and tries to feed off of you. Here's the thing. We gotta remember who's in charge of you. Who decides what happens to you? You do. So what do you think we should do with this? I have the perfect solution. Energy vampire? Okay. This energy vampire that's coming after me, I'm now toxic to him. Just like that. Literally, that's all you have to do. Because logically, your life, you have the final say in how you exist and what happens with you. So in response to them being like, time to feed, well, I'm now toxic to you. Oh, I just suck. Don't look at me. You should have kept your mouth to yourself. You ain't sucking this, dude. And that's just taking it from a logical standpoint. So if I have the final say and I'm in control of my life, and I decide what happens with me, I decide everything, and if someone's going to try and feed off of me, I'm now poisonous to them. But again, you just completely bamboozle them. They're like, oh, we found a source. Never mind, it's toxic. Literally. Well, but still, there's that way, or then there's the actually earlier, somebody tried commenting on my intro video about my channel. And I mean, they were really trying hard to really get me to be all like hissy-fitty. One of them was like, oh, no, Saturn's the Antichrist, don't worship that. Well, for one thing, I don't worship nothing. I don't worship anything because when I hear worship, I think looking up to something and praising it. I look at something as an equal. That's it. Nothing's higher, nothing's lower, but still. It was saying, no, you can't worship Saturn. It's the Antichrist. Saturn's a planet. It can't comprehend religion. It can't. If anything, Saturn would be like this. What? I'm an anti-Chris? What's that? I don't get it. I'm not anti-Chris. Well, no, it doesn't make sense. I don't get it. Crisp? Anti-crisp? What do you mean, anti-crisp? I like crispy chicken sandwiches. Idiot. Besides, I don't get your religion stuff. I can't see it, and I can't make sense of it. Go away. Damn brat. Yeah. That's how Saturn would react to organized religion like that. Because it doesn't make sense to him. It's not practical. It's not three-dimensional. And he's a planet that's like that. If it's not 3D realistic, down to Earth completely, and if it doesn't have any logical proof, he wants nothing to do with it. So sorry, sir, your thing about him being the Antichrist? No. In fact, funny enough, Saturn is actually more beneficial than harmful. Night, Tammy. Sleep well. Hope it was funny when Saturn came in for like about 2 seconds. That reminds me too, I need to do the readings for Sagittarius and then also do Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. I gotta do them. And also, since, well, it is Kendra's birthday, and I gotta really get to that, but still. I don't think I can really think of anything else in regarding to shadow work, but I will share one entity that is or actually really divine. One divine that would be very phenomenal to consider working or investing with if it's ever with shadow work. And it's with, yep, you guessed it, hell. Because the way that hell works and how she goes about it, it doesn't matter what wrongs you did, but good things you've done, nothing. Well, it's funny because as soon as you came in here, I was actually going to be talking about hell. Believe it or not. Hell is probably the, if not most, ever, even compared to like even Yeshua or like actual the Abrahamic God. She is the one that truly loves because she doesn't judge anybody. If somebody calls out to her, no matter who it is, it could even be someone like Hitler. Hell will still go to him. Because she only sees somebody as a soul, not the wrongs. That's how much she's willing to just go to somebody who needs it. She'll listen, but at the same time, she's also point blank harsh. Like, she won't hesitate to say, why do you keep doing that stupid crap, dude? Do you enjoy being stupid? Because if you do, wow. I don't know what's so fun about being dumb. You're lucky I promised Allfather that I would, accept everybody. You're lucky. Because if I didn't, you wouldn't be having me listen to this BS. That's how she is. But because of that, she's also the only one that can tolerate the worst that anybody can go through or have experienced, or like the darkest parts of people, and not flinch. I can't even do that. Because there's always, at least for me, going to be one person that's on my... Well, the one that I was talking about, that wasn't Lilith. That was something hell would say. But now Lilith, well, Lilith has a much different tone. Lilith is more like... I need a prop for this one. Lilith is more... Oh. You want me to be impressed by that? Why? No, that's not impressive, honey. Besides, if you need to have Daddy help you get time with me, That's not... How do you think that's attractive? Does he have to hold it up for you too? Wow. Now I really ain't gonna give you anything now. No, 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 no. Nope, sorry. I'm not gonna sleep with a twat that can't even, fend for himself. In fact, he doesn't even know how to listen, so why bother? No. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know if you would call that impersonating, because I don't think it's really impersonation, because I'm not actually like really bringing her in, but I'm kind of like connecting, and also kind of just like best guessing like what they would say in the situation. Because if I was impersonating, I would have actually known what they said. But I'm not. Okay, guys, I saw that. That wasn't nice. Almost made me kind of shriek like a schoolgirl on a live stream. Please don't do that. What just happened? This fan here. I'm gonna try and raise up and not have something drastic happen. But this fan right here. Wait, that fan right there. That thing. Yeah. You see the lampshade? Yeah, that thing was just randomly shaking when I was talking about that. Just shaking. I thought I just did it again. But still. That thing just started on its own. Like, oh, really, guys? Why do you gotta do this to me? Fine, what do you guys want to say? Make it quick. Of course, fine, Dantalion. Give me your thingy. Make it quick. Sometimes you just love them so much and they want to speak, fine. They can come through and say what they have to say. You people are so funny. Don't be afraid of anyone that abuses you, because their dad didn't like them either. Dude, that's a bit too dark, dude. I know. Stop it. Yeah, that's just how he comes through for me. Like how when Dantalion has like all those faces. The best way I can describe it is like when he speaks is like each space, no, not each space, each face comes through and it speaks, if that makes sense. The many heads, and they all speak different tones. Yeah, it just blows. And I mean, it tickles when he comes through, but once he comes in, he's kind of like, now I'm not letting go. He's a riot, like an animaniac. Stop it. I love you to death, dear, but not right now. I adore you, but easy. Do you want me to buy you flowers or something? Yeah, I know it'd be swell, but... yeah. That's the only disadvantage of... Well, it's not really a disadvantage, but that's one of the things you have to accept when becoming a spiritualist. Is that when you have yourself completely open, they like to mess with you. The way I like to look at it is like if they didn't really like you at all, they wouldn't do this. If they didn't care about you and they didn't like you, they wouldn't just be messing and trolling you. Except, depending on which spirit it is, it'd be completely different. In fact, speaking of that, I've actually discovered the next entity that I'm going to be working, or actually go towards to see about inviting to work with and invest with for some time. Let me see if I can grab his card real quick. See, where is this one? I mean, there's quite a few that I really want to go towards, but I'm one of those that likes to really get like completely well knowledge and spend some time with a spirit before I just go with somebody else. I like to spend my time and really invest with them. Actually, well, I might as well just grab all the ones that, in fact, I really do want to at least try to pretty much meet and interact with all of them if I could, but you know, that's going to take a while. But the ones I'm most interested in, yeah. I'm just going to pick out the ones that I'm most interested in that I've seen in this Oracle deck, funny enough. That one, this one, Auguras, I've actually had the pleasure of asking for help, and he actually helped, and he got quite a bit of carnations and a stuffed tiger. Yep, and hopefully I won't pull out my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Oh, wait a minute, those are in storage. There's Lord of the Flies. Oh, well, there's our MVP. And speaking of that, there's also that same dimwit that was like saying, well, Saturn's the Antichrist. He also commented, I think it was on the same video, like, well, Christ will give you Venus, or Christ will give you, yeah, that's Lucifer. That's one of the depictions of him. The dimwit was like saying, well, Christ will give you Venus. So you mean to tell me Christ is going to give me Lucifer? How does that make sense? And he commented on another video that I did a long time ago explaining one of my empathic abilities that I have. The empathic ability of being a sin eater. And actually, yeah, I'll keep them in that pile because you can always build on that one. Yep, I can make that up. In fact, if I couldn't even do that if I tried. But I was explaining to him, like he was saying that I am shadow, I eat shadow, whatever, and I just commented back, just all, look, dude, what are you trying to prove, and what are you trying to say? What are you getting at? Because it's okay. It's perfectly fine if you are trying to become like my biggest fan. It's okay. In fact, I appreciate it because you're giving me all your attention and time. I really appreciate it. It makes me feel important. But please, make sure you set aside some time for you and enjoy something that you want to. And stop making me important. Spend your time wisely, please. Yeah, but too many. I never asked them, and I never really wanted them. I just knew, well, then again, depending on what you call fangirl, because to me, when I hear fangirl, I think of somebody like trying to, like a troll. But on the positive side, there's a difference between like a troll, fangirl, and then somebody who admires and looks up to, being inspired by. Oh, that was the one I was going to talk about. But essentially, the negative fangirl that I'm talking about is like if somebody's really trying to say things to you to get you like triggered or whatever. Oh no. That would actually make him become aware and actually stop being stupid. And I kind of think that, I think I'm just going to allow him to just stay stupid. And hopefully somebody else will give him the hardest upside the head than, me putting it down gently. Because I can't hold everybody's hand now. And I don't want to hold everybody's hand. I mean, the last time something tried to do that without my consent, it got a piece of selenite stabbed through it. I told that story about that time when I was using a board and then something thought it'd be cute. Oh, I'm gonna hold his hand and scare him. Literally, only moving the, I can't even pronounce that thing, but like moving it over the letters, just trying to figure out and just see how it works. And I'm trying to actually use it, then all of a sudden I just feel a sensation on my hand just go, kind of like that. And literally, as soon as I was starting to feel it, I go, went back, did it again, did it one last time, looked over to the right, and I saw, actually, I think I have it in here. Hold on. I hope I do. Where's that point at? It has to be in here. There it is. Except, you know, it's broken out. But yeah, well, it was a point like this. And you can kind of tell that it's chipped, and that used to be point sharp. So it tries to grab my hand one more time. Here, I'll grab the whole thing. But then, at the time, this was like one piece. I was moving the thing again, and as soon as I felt the sensation, grabbed that whole thing, the other part of it, which was like about that long, of this same piece. I grabbed it and went right through into the carpet. And you're probably thinking, did he really get his hand? No. It sounded like I did, though. Literally just. And when you're able to hear and are in tune with the other side, let's just say I probably heard like a canine shriek. Yep, it was a nice one. But now it's like another selenite generator I have. But still. And a loud canine shriek, and then I just went back to just doing this. And until I was finished, it just sat there with that thing stuck in his hand. And I didn't care. I was too busy trying to figure this thing out. As soon as I was done, this kindly asked it, so, why are you trying to hold my hand? I don't even know you. I don't even know who you are. Why are you doing that? Get this out of my hand. No. Why do you think it's okay to hold somebody's hand that you don't even know? Because some people don't like that. I'm one of them. Please, just get this. Nope. I think you need to have some manners be taught to you. So whoops. That was not supposed to happen. But pretty much for a week, I've pretty much told it, you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to have to do me some community service for a little bit. Which ended up him just pretty much just staying in like a crystal for some time. While I pretty much just put it in front of like Saturn's audio, like from NASA, the space recording. Just put it in front of like a speaker of some kind, and I just played the Saturn sound. Like the rings of Saturn. Like if you've seen my other YouTube videos, like the intro that I have, yeah, that sound. Just completely put that crystal with it in there and just let it do its thing. Amped up and just go, just like scared the living heck out of it. And then after, its time was up, I told it, okay, have you learned your lesson? Good, get out of here. And that was actually also the last time I used the board, but not really that intimidated by anything, really. So anyway, the Lieutenant Divine that I'm actually going to be going towards next is King Paimon. That's my next one. He's like the next one that I'm going towards. And I'm kind of not really reading too much about him, because a lot of people say, and it is true, if you read a lot about an entity before you even go towards them, it can really mess up your interaction with them, between you and them, not what somebody else says. Another one on my list is Astaroth. Also Zolos or Zabos. Another one is Gomery, which kind of looks like Paimon, but a feminine version. Well, I mean, there's one person that I've actually listened to when it comes to like about like going towards a new Lieutenant Divine. What's his name? D.H. Thorne? Yeah, he was one of the ones I watched when I was learning about Dantalion, and I mean, that was a big help. And I like his channel. I think he just got down to 4,000 subs. Really intelligent, really very knowledgeable, and a really good source. Another one, this one probably might be like a bit of a what? King Asmodeus. Yes, that's the Lieutenant Divine that's considered to be the most nasty, if you catch my drift. Not vulgar, well, lustful. There's Auguras, the one that helped find somebody and bring him back home, and also got like a lot of red carnations and a stuffed tiger. Yes. He's really intelligent, and I mean, he is philosophically much higher than a lot of other people. This one might actually make people go, oh, you want to get closer to him? Yeah. Andres. Because if you know Andres, don't make him mad. Of course, we can always get closer. That one. Another one is Amun, or Amun-Ra, which is also known to be the Dark Sun. And also Prince Stolas. You gotta be careful though, because Andres is actually known to be really murderous. That's all I gotta say. Be very careful. But also Stolas. Stolas is one of Lilith's beloved Lieutenant Divines that she's really close with. Well, because he does take on the form of an owl. And one of her animals is an owl. So it kind of makes sense. I saw that. I see you floating around there. Can you wait till the live's over with? Thank you. I just completely lost my train of thought, but 10:30. How long have I been live? 83 minutes. Oh, yeah, on the bright side, at least my watch time's going up. Oh, that reminds me. Probably, like as soon as I get monetized and stuff, I'm actually gonna be starting to get ready to possibly move to states away, probably, or whichever. And pretty much I'm going to be trying to do like some fundraising to help me relocate. But that only really will start if it's like when I get my super chats enabled, or I mean there's a PayPal link below. If you feel like, you know what, excuse me, I'm going to throw money at this kid. Don't expect me to be being like a vulgar hoochie hooch and doing vulgar things for it, because I don't flow like that. But because pretty much whenever I get like donations and stuff like that, it's going to go straight to helping me get to where I want to go. I must keep, that thing, the roof above my head. But because I'm considered I guess is a high risk individual for the pandemic thing that's going around, because I have chronic asthma. So yeah, I can't go into the workforce like out there. Like, oh well, what a shame. But still, in fact, I kind of enjoy doing this anyway, because I could actually connect and actually talk to people, and also do this to stupidity at times from dumb people. Yeah, because I mean, I thought I was serious, and then I know what happens. Well, but it's because also, finally, I think my other half and I are finally gonna, sit and be under the same roof at long last, hopefully. And yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Get a place of our own again for like the third or fourth time now. But you know what they say about young people, they done. Except not this one, because I've had the same goal to accomplish since then too, since day one. And I think, the light bulb went off for him. Like, oh, yeah. Over here, just like, I knew that the whole time. Any day now. Three, 6, 9. That's funny because when you add that together, you get 9. Right, 3, 6, and 9. You add that together, you get 8. Wait a minute. I just had a big blonde brain explosion. I'm blonde, I can make fun of myself. And it's natural. 3 and 6 is 9. 9 and 9 is 18. And 1 and 8 is 9. Tesla. Natural. Yep. Unless if you're an imaginary number. I never understood that, by the way. Imaginary number? What, does this number not exist? Well, excuse me. Somebody wants attention, but you can sit and wait like everybody else. Yeah, for some reason, my life path number, it just so happens to be the same as my other half's number too. We're both 9s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 20. Crap, and I got that stuck in my head like that. Schoolhouse Rock wasn't, but that's like, oh god, I don't even know. Dang, that's, oh, my patella, that hurt. That's like ages ago. Back when I was like a young, real blonde kid that was obnoxious. An 8. I believe that makes you, oh, number 1. That makes you very strong with initiative. Makes you very initiatory, if that's even a word. So, I think at this point I'm gonna just leave the floor open for any questions at all. And again, card reads if they want it, but I'm not gonna go into too much of a depth, so just pick a number between 1 and 4. 1 and 4 for a tarot reading. I'm not gonna do oracles though. I'm gonna just keep it simple with a 3-card spread. If you want them. If not, okay. My floor is open to whatever questions. Sheesh. 2? Okay. Okay. Easy though. Okay, one at a time, people. One at a time. One at a time. Okay. We have Loyal, Dolly, and 4. Okay. Wait. Ah! Yeah, I was going to be ending pretty soon, but yeah, the floor is open. So I'm going to be doing, okay, so who? Okay, so if you said a number that is 1 and 4, okay. Okay, so loyalty said 1. Yeah, 1 and 4, not. I was going to be like, okay, 1 and 30, that's a lot of decks to choose from. Okay, so loyalty has 2, then shadows at 4. Okay. So I have, crap. Loyalty with 2, and then 4 at, for shadow. Okay, 2. Okay. That one. Okay. Let's see, where is this bloody thing? Okay. Okay, loyalty. What do you want me to look into? Well, I'm trying to figure out where I put this one deck at. Deck, not that, you nasty. I know what you were thinking about. No, this is not the time for that. We're keeping our sausage links in the freezer, okay? We're not bringing them out yet. It's not time to cook them. What? We're all ladies here, kind of. Whatever. You know it's a joke. No one better be like, oh, that's dirty. Pfft, you don't even know what dirty is, silly. Okay. Okay, so I think loyalty put actually asked and actually chose a number, which was I think number 2. 2, okay, for who's your twin flame? Okay, and the deck that you got is going to be the Ghost Tarot. I haven't seen this deck be printed and sold anywhere ever since I got it, so yeah. Okay, 3 card. I'm gonna do a 3 card spread. Okay, so this individual's twin flame. Give me 3 cards about them. This is hematite, and I definitely need hematite because hematite's just like down. Come back to earth, boy. It's like having an anvil around your neck, but not really. Okay, 3 for person in question. 4. Okay, got 1. There's 2. Okay. So, where is he going? Okay. So loyalty, here are the 3 cards that came out describing your twin flame. So look. Hey. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, sometimes you gotta show them, the men how to be tough. Besides, women are tougher anyway. Hey, don't look at me. I'm just saying the truth. I count as both, so it's okay. So here's the cards that came out. Number 1. King of Twigs. So it looks like the twin flame individual is going to be someone who takes initiative and knows how to handle his stick. Whatever. You get it. You get it. And all right. They are going to be having a lot of initiative. They like to take action. They don't like, being dull. They like having a lot of life and a lot of zest in their life. They like to pretty much be very initiative and take action and enjoy the life that they live in. And they want to make sure that it's actually enjoyable. As well, they are going to be very easy to get along with. And in this depiction too, we have a ghostly figure and a woman figure who's alive, and she's washing a plate. So what I'm getting from this is that even if you're not directly in contact with them, they're always working to help you out, even if it's just there's a distance between you two. So there's always going to be working together with them, even when they're not around, if that makes sense. While you're doing one thing, they're off doing something else, but you're both working towards the same goal as an equal, as a team. And then the other one. This is probably like my favorite depiction of this card. Here is the Chariot. We have My Little Pony A and B, and then the Charioteer with a long, ghostly, whippy thing. Yeah. So essentially, this twin flame of yours is also going to be somebody who is actually going to work very well with not only you, but the whole family structure as a whole. So anybody that's like in-laws or anybody that's like of your family, they're all they're actually going to work well with them. And the whole family structure is going to be able to work as a unit. So expect kind of expect kind of like a family-oriented person that's also going to be working alongside providing for you when you're working on something else. He might be the life of the party, nothing wrong with that. But, make sure he doesn't, stick his stick everywhere, because, that's how you are when the King of Wands pops up. He sticks his stick, and he sticks it while sticking it. But also, he's probably going to be very focused on making sure everything works together smoothly with that chariot. Just make sure it's not going too fast with that stick. He might accidentally get it stuck. But at least that's what I got. You could also say it has potential to have, since the King of Wands is a sun. Well, since the King of Wands is, since it's a king figure, I'm getting the idea that he actually might have his sun as a fire sign, possibly. And he might have a Cancer ascendant, maybe. Maybe. At least that's what I'm getting. Potentially. And his moon might be an earth sign. If anything, I'm getting the idea. Well, the reason why I'm saying it like that, well, in the depiction, you can kind of see the sun on the corner there, but what I'm using to actually support that is because the king in astrology is represented by the sun. The sun's the king, moon's the queen. And the King of Wands, okay, so the sun is in a fire sign, if that makes sense. That's what I'm using to support that. And the ascendant, and I'm just going to go with it, is Cancer. Because, this is one of the cards that come up, and you usually look at astrology to notice somebody's big three. There's the sun, moon, and ascendant, or lugna. Here's potentially the sun. Here's the ascendant. And in the earth, the third one is got to be an earth sign, as the moon, like Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus. Bloody thing, I gotta go down and grab it. At least that's what I'm getting from this. So potentially look for somebody who's able to work well with others and work with the family unit. They actually... Why do you want me to keep bending over? That's nasty, people. Stop it. Drive me nuts. Anyway. And also, they're going to be able to work on something that you both are working on, but they don't have to be babysat when they work. And okay, fine, they love to handle the stick well, and they like to, share the grope stick. They like to, have a nice wild time, but not enough of that nastiness. At least that's what I got. Now, who was the other person? Okay, where do we go? And Shadow said 4. Okay, we'll go with... Okay, fine. I'm gonna bring out an all-time favorite, if I can get my hands on it. No, don't think suggestive. Bring out one of my favorite decks ever, Tarot of Vampires. Oh, look. What's her name? Oh, yeah. Hey, Lisa, I found your deck. Found your deck. Even though I really wish I had the Bohemian Gothic Tarot, because that would make me shriek like a schoolgirl. I don't know what my ex really felt or thought. Okay, so about ex-lover, huh? And how he... Or thought about you. Okay. Well, that is exactly why, when it comes to relationships like that, that's a good thing if you actually have a Saturnian person. Because a Saturnian person will go to the Neptunian person and just be like, stop thinking you like enjoying being wet. Stop it. Get back. No. Quit feeding the fishes. You have obligations to do, you stupid. You know, swimming with the fishes isn't going to pay the bills. Oh well, go be up there with your woozy man. Yeah, Saturnian person does not really like it. They don't like Neptunian themed stuff because it's too much like Final Fantasy. But nothing wrong with it. But it's also, Neptune's also the planet about seduction too. And remember, seduction isn't being suggestive. It's intoxicating the mind to actually put it to a point where it takes action without even thinking. So tell me about Shadow's ex-lover and what he really thought. Be nice now, but say how it is. And actually, funny enough, Neptune is actually more of a feminine planet because of that. Some people think masculine. Okay, first card. How he really thinks. Card number 1. 4 of Skulls, or four of Pentacles. That's good. Loyalty, that is a good place to have Saturn. That is a really good place to have Saturn. I'm dead serious. I'm serious. That is a house you want Saturn in. 6, 8, or 12. That's one of the houses you want him in. Because Saturn in the 8th house pretty much does this. Death! You want her? No, you can't have her. Get away. Nope, she's not dying today. Mm-mm. Oh, she's going to have a tragic accident. No. Mm-mm. She's going to have a long life. If you don't like it, stick it. I said she's going to have a long life. Go away. Saturn in the 8th gives you a long life. Because everything related to the 8th house, he slows it down. 8th house is also a house of death. So he... Nope. Because he's a planet that deflects, and pretty much prevents things from coming at you. Death, deflected. He's rebellious. 4 of Pentacles has card number 1. Well, Uranus is I like to call Uranus kind of like the jester. Think of it like having a jester with Uranus, but also being kind of like very supportive of like the individual and society. But he's a little bit more unpredictable than Saturn and Rahu, if that makes sense. 4 Skulls with the... 4 Skulls with the 8 of Skulls. Kind of an interesting combination so far. Okay. Well, the good thing with having Saturn in the 8th house, with his, he has 3 aspect codes. The 3rd place for himself, 7th, and then the 12th. In the 2nd house, Saturn looks right at the 8th house. And again, whenever Saturn is aspecting or in a house where he's affecting, he slows it down, he intimidates it. So your Saturn, Lisa, is telling your 8th house to stop. You're not doing that. No. Quit it. So when it comes to like tragic events and all that, they kind of get slowed down and they kind of get intimidated. But the 2nd, 3rd, but like your 4th house of conveniency and comforts and all that. You might have to put in a little bit more work and effort in your family environment. You might have to put double the effort there. It is what it is. Okay, doke. So then the last card for next ex-lover for Shadow. Unhanded. Queen of Sass. Well, that got pretty... I'm just going to look at it this way. And I'm going to just put it in this order. Well, Uranus in the 8th, well, because since he's in the 8th house, he's making sudden events become random. When you make something already random, more random, it kind of becomes predictable. But anyway, here's the 3 cards that came out. 8 of Skulls, 8 of Pentacles, 4 of Skulls, 4 of Pentacles, and Queen of Knives, or Queen of Sass. Let's start with the first one. Well, actually it was the 4 of Pentacles that came out first, but I'm going with this way because it feels right. Ex-lover, even though he's holding a skull in his hand, it looks like he's doing some kind of magical spell with it. And it looks like he's very adamant on time. And for some reason, I don't know why I'm getting this. If he happens to be a Virgo or has any Virgo in his placements, or if he has an Earth sign sun, there might have been a possibility that he was trying to get in your head. Somehow, some way. And he probably was doing some occult stuff too, because look how he's just being like, oh, what is she saying? I don't get it. I can't hear her. Why is it not working? It's because, you have the wrong planet to be able to listen to that dude. So he probably... Capricorn Moon, huh? You know what's actually really funny? You know what's really funny? It's funny you say Capricorn, because look on her shoulder. There's the symbol of Capricorn right there. And Capricorn Moon. Oh, that's funny. If you look right there, you can barely see, like on this statue's face, a crescent moon. Going like, kind of like, like look at his face. And there's the moon symbol right there, and then there's the Capricorn right there. That's a little freaky deaky. Oh no. If by any chance too, if you happen to think he was acting a little out of hand, that you got to the point where you did magic on him to, pacify him, because she is kind of holding a rosary. If you're trying to tell him, chill, he probably was really deeply attached to you. If so, it is what it is. But he also was doing magic on you regarding the relationship at Shadow. And yes, I'm speaking about your reading now. So you know. So possibly he decided to get into the occult field, and he probably was trying to get really a little bit too in undefined waters, that he ended up having to be constrained. And you were like holding him back and tell him, no, you need to stop playing like that. But he got into a big hissy fit and ran off, because he couldn't be the one in power. because now instead you're this. Queen of S. So much more beautiful, so much well put together. And if you happen to take a look at her holding her knife, she's doing this with it. Like her hand, this is the knife. The blade is up, going like right here. And she's going like this. Like that. Like she's literally cutting the part right here between her fingers open. And then look at the expression on her face. She's like, listen here. You ain't gonna be doing this shit anymore. And so that way you know I'm serious. Let me show you how serious I am. Look at her hand.